And it's still Africa in focus, but this time we're looking at electric vehicles. We know that Toyota is planning, or they say that they would like to set up electric vehicle plants here in Nigeria. We've seen Malawi done the same thing. Morocco has even gone way ahead when you talk about, all those green energy-driven vehicles. But let's look at the bigger picture now with the Chief Executive Officer of Spiro, Mr. Kaushik Borman, joins us from Dubai. Mr. Borman, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for having me on the show.
Great. So sometimes when we talk about electric vehicles in Africa, pardon me, I'm a Nigerian in blood and in flesh. When we talk about electric vehicles in Africa, it seems, are we getting our priorities right? But we hear more and more conversations going on in different countries on the continent. But how ready is the continent for electric vehicles?
So there's a lot of, a little bit about Spiro. We are Africa's largest EV player already, with over a fleet of 17,000 electric motorbikes, over 40,000 batteries deployed, and aided by about 450 battery swapping stations. And I'm very pleased to share that Spiro has crossed over 10 million battery swaps in the last 3 years of its existence. So I think the efforts are on to transform the electric mobility, broadly the mobility sector in the African continent. And Nigeria is a key market for Spiro to institutionalize a vertically integrated operation. Spiro is a part of the Equitane Group. The thesis of this group is to create local value in wherever we operate, create high-skilled jobs, and therefore which will have a multiplier effect on the economy as well as on the environment. So our efforts are laser-focused towards transforming the urban mobility on the African continent. We are going to scale disproportionately and create this market grounds up by what I would say a vertically integrated operation, right from manufacturing and assembling of vehicles all the way to creating the energy infrastructure, which is absolutely important for fostering electric vehicle adoption.
But one of the fears or concerns, Mr. Bowen, isn't this another way of making Africa over-dependent on the West? Because how many of the parts of these electric vehicles are being manufactured in Africa? And we are talking about how major currencies on the continent are depreciating because of overdependence on the dollar and imports. How does this help the real sector on the continent?
So this is going to happen in a phased manner. If you look at electric adoption in other parts of the world, especially in Southeast Asia, in South Asia, you see, to be able to integrate vertically, create what I would say vertically integrated manufacturing capabilities, it takes time, especially electric vehicles where the biggest component is the battery pack. Now, look at the positive side. African continent has got plenty of natural resources. So I would be very bullish and optimistic about creating cell manufacturing facilities broadly by the industry players, which would lead to cost reductions over a period of time. At Spiro, we are trying to build an ecosystem where we would not only invest millions of dollars in manufacturing capabilities, but also bring in suppliers from different parts of the world, those being from Southeast Asia, from China, from Vietnam, from India, and create this ecosystem so that over the next 10, 20, 50 years, we create a very strong foundation with regards to availability of parts, components, localizing them, ensuring that the expensive imports, we substitute the expensive imports through localization of parts and components. So it's going to happen over in multiple phases. At this point in time, what we are aiming to do is to really focus hard on getting the assembly lines in order, equipping the capabilities with the local community, and then also concurrently looking at how best we can fast track the co-location of suppliers in this whole Spiro EV Park ecosystem.
Yeah, but how soon do you see this available to average Africans? At this time, it seems like EVs are for the elites.
You see, there again, I would borrow an example which has worked wonders from the Asian continent, where progressive policies from the government foster the adoption in a very exponential rate. So I think institutionalizing certain incentives for demand creation as well as for supply of the electric vehicle infrastructure, policies centered around these aspects would incentivize the industry to commit more investments in the African continent. We are already supplying, as I said, over 17,000 motorbikes. We are already going to assemble the high value battery packs in Africa. And I would say that in the next 6 months, we will be in a position to bring affordable products and accessible electric vehicle infrastructure on the African continent. As I said, we have, as the largest player, we have already crossed 10 million battery swaps in Africa across 7 countries. So if we are able to do this sort of an capability building, I see no reason why there will be many partners who would want to come and join this coalition and put all focused efforts in building the capabilities locally on the continent.
All right, thank you so much. We certainly do hope to see accelerated move, at least for the good of renewable energy and better climate for Africans and the world. Thank you so much, Chief Executive Officer of Spiro, Kashik Borman, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.